This is also Remy.
This is Sam Stout.
What's up? It's Nate Diaz.
Hey guys, this is Chad Mendez.
This is Junior Dos Santos, and you are listening to MMA Meltdown.
Welcome back to the MMA Meltdown radio show here on 102.3 ESPN Denver Sports Station. You can catch our next guest fighting Matt Brown Saturday, April 21st, live on pay-per-view from Phillips Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for you folks here in Colorado. Or you can even catch this guy on page 44 of the April-May edition of the UFC magazine, Mr. 6-0, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. How's it going?
Doing good, my friend. Glad to be on the show with you.
But I appreciate your time, especially this close to your fight. Now, Wonderboy, huh? Why don't you break that down for me a little bit and let our listeners know why they call you Wonderboy?
Well, when I was a kid, you know, I used to dance and sing around all the time, and they used to call me Stevie Wonder, and which is, you know, kind of weird. But you know, until I started fighting, I had my first fight at 15, and these guys were saying, "Hey, man, I wonder why these guys step in the cage or step in the ring with this boy," and they just switched it to Wonderboy, man. It's you know, nothing too spectacular, but that's how it went.
I don't know, a little kid dancing good enough to be called Stevie Wonder. We might have to break out some of those moves after this fight with Brown, huh?
Oh yeah, man, you're gonna have to get that footwork going.
Now, how has camp been so far? Or I mean, it's over now at this point, but how has camp?
Man, it was actually really cool, man. I mean, you know, I got to do some traveling for this camp. I actually got to do some training for about a week up in Florida with Rashad, down in Florida with Rashad. Brought Nate Marquardt up for about a week and a half, and spent some time out in Dallas with my brother-in-law and my jiu-jitsu instructor, Carlos Machado. So it's been really good, man. Yeah,
absolutely. And shout out to Nate Marquardt, fellow Colorado boy. So that's awesome. You got to spend time with those guys. Now, looking at your opponent, you know, Matt Brown, he's been very critical of your past opponents. Basically, saying you haven't fought anybody noteworthy to this point. I think as of this point right now, your previous opponents' records are a combined 23 and 22, so just over the 500 mark. Do you think that a win over Brown will change the tone of the majority of those doubters, or is this something that's going to have to be a gradual process for you?
I think it would have to be, you know, I think beating Matt Brown is going to make everybody in the welterweight division, including, you know, everybody with the UFC, open their eyes and say, you know what, this guy deserves to be in the UFC. So this is one of the reasons why we took this fight, you know, directly after 143. And, you know, Matt Brown's he's a tough opponent, man. He's never been knocked out, and hopefully that will change this up-and-coming fight. You know, it's not something I'm not gonna try and push. You know, if you try and push a knockout, you know, usually for me it's never happened. So I'm just gonna let it happen. You know.
Yeah. Now that we're on the subject of Brown and his record, you know, we look at Brown's wins. You know, 7 of them have come via knockout or technical knockout, 5 submissions, and he's won 1 by decision. But on the other side, he's lost none of his fights by submission as well. If this fight does go to the ground, how confident are you that you're going to be able to walk away with the win?
Oh man, you know, my ground game's getting better every day. You know, I've been doing, you know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling, you know, almost my entire life, and that's one of the reasons why I switched to MMA, because I wanted to give those, you know, those other talents or you know, skills and put them out there. I want the world to see them as well instead of just my striking. Like you said, Matt Brown's a tough guy, and wherever the fight goes, I'm gonna be comfortable there. So.
Now, it's definitely great to hear you say that you've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling, you know, for a long time as well, because at this point in time, or up to this point in time, your kickboxing and your karate is what's been getting the most attention. Do you, at this point in time, do you feel that your jiu-jitsu or your wrestling game is underrated, or you just haven't had a chance to display that?
Well, you know, I haven't had a chance to display that. You know, and everybody knows my forte is striking, and I like to put on a show, and that's what people want to see. They want to see a good knockout. So I like to keep it on my feet. But if it does go to the ground, you know, then some people are going to be surprised.
And I mean, right now, I mean, just your whole status and where you stand at the UFC has been a really pleasant surprise. I mean, what's it like for you going from just an everyday professional MMA fighter to in this limelight, being featured in magazines, now on one of the biggest cards of the year up to date? I mean, what's that been like for you?
Man, it's been an experience. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, to fight for somebody like the UFC, I mean, it's the biggest promotion in the world. That's what everybody dreams of doing, and this is my dream, and I'm living it. So, you know, I'm still, you know, myself. I'm still Stephen Thompson, and I'm still back at the gym training and teaching kids, and you know, I'm just along for the ride, man. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of professional fighters saying that, you know, training with the kids, teaching the kids, you know, that's the thing that keeps you humble, because these kids look up to you like you're a hero, huh?
Exactly, you know, and they're the future. So that's why I do it, man. And I know what the martial arts brought me. You know, it shows, you know, teaches you respect and modesty and courtesy and self-control, and, you know, and that's something that you want to give to the kids. And, you know, that's what I grew up with, so I know how it helps.
So what's your stance on the whole kids in MMA? I mean, that seems to be a trend right now, that these kids are not only getting into martial arts and mixed martial arts, doing the tournaments, things like that, but now there's actually promotions trying to get them into cages and doing displays, things like that. What's your opinion of that?
Well, I mean, it depends on what the rules are and the equipment they're using. I mean, we've got kids at Upstate Karate, you know, they have the right equipment on, and, you know, the headgear and face cage, and so they can't do a whole lot of damage. And if they, well, as long as they have that protection, I'd say go for it, you know. But to get them out there in MMA gloves and that's it, you know, I think that, you know, wait until they get a little bit older for that. But if they, you know, I think I'm all for it, man. I think it's you know, it's the fastest growing sport in the world, and we need to get our young kids out there, the future, in there competing and doing it, man. I mean, that's how you're going to grow the sport.
Man, I agree 100%. The world's fastest growing sport. We need some kind of a feeder system. Individuals like yourself and kids programs around the nation is really what's going to keep that going. Now, I know at any level, I mean, from amateur to professional, especially at the level you're at right now, that you're never going to look past your current opponent. But is there anybody in the welterweight division that you've been eyeing and look forward to fighting at one point?
You know, I look at it as I'm probably going to end up fighting everybody in the welterweight division. I mean, you know, there's no real single person that I'm calling out or anything, but it's whoever the UFC puts in front of me. You know, it's the road to the title, and hopefully one day, you know, I'll be able to have that belt around my waist. But, you know, right now it's just the next person in front of me and whoever they put in front of me. So, you know, I'm taking it slow, and I think it's better that way. That way, you know, I progress slowly and get that experience. But, you know, I'm just along for the ride. Like I said, man, it's a blast.
Now, fans and listeners, once again, you can catch Stephen Thompson again fighting Matt Brown Saturday, April 21st on pay-per-view from Phillips Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Again, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Stephen, man, I definitely want to thank you for taking time out, you know, so close to your fight, and best of luck to you.
Hey, man, thank you, and it's a pleasure.